So welcome to the lesson of the song Time Tonight from the album Curtains by John Frusciante. And this lesson I thought I would do in the style of like I did with Breaking the Girl, where I do like this long kind of lesson and not too edited, like you would be in the room here with me and learning it, instead of doing these very short, on point and highly edited ones, because I really enjoy making Breaking the Girl in that way, and it seems like you liked it as well. So yeah, I will try it for this lesson and we'll see how it turns out. So the song Time Tonight, I think it's a really good song to practice your right hand, your finger picking technique, and I will focus a lot on using the same fingers for the same strings and getting used to that. And the song mostly consists of simple major and minor bar chords, but there are also some other interesting chords. And when it comes to the right hand, the pattern is generally quite similar, but there are some interesting runs here and there that are really beautiful, and which also is a great opportunity to practice some finger picking, and hopefully it will be really fun. So yeah, and I could mention the song structure is verse, then you have a chorus, and then you have a verse again, and then you have chorus again, but the second chorus is different from the first chorus, and then you go into a bridge, which turns into a quite long outro. So yeah, here we go. So before we jump into the verse, I just want to make clear what fingers we will use for each string, and we will actually use this consistently throughout the whole song, except for one chord actually, but we'll get to that later. So the thumb will play the low E and the A, and then you will use your index finger for the D string, the middle finger for the G string, and the ring finger for the D string. And we will actually only play the high E once in the whole song for one chord, so we don't need to worry too much about that. So and I think it's really good to get into the habit of assigning fingers to certain strings, and it may be tough in the beginning because you maybe want to play it in a more comfortable way and just improvise it along the way, but I think it will make you a better guitar player if you practice to use the same fingers for each string. And for this song it worked really well to work with this pattern as I just described. So yeah, moving on with the chords. The chords of the verse are G sharp minor, B, F, and G sharp minor again. And the finger picking pattern generally in the whole song is bass, single bass note, then higher single bass note, and then the three high strings. With the fingers assigned like this, like I talked about before. So for the first chord, the G sharp minor chord, the pattern is so the lowest root bass note, and then the bass note higher up, and then all three strings, and then the bass note again, and all three high strings again. And then for the B chord, you have this pattern where you just walk down the chord quite straightforwardly. So, and notice there that I use my index finger for the D string. And then for the F sharp major chord, you have the same pattern. So thumb, thumb, and then all high three. And then back to the G sharp minor chord with the same pattern as before. So putting it all together, it goes like this. And then he has this very beautiful little run, and it is the E chord, E major chord, and the B major chord, the B chord. But the voicing of the E chord is really nicely put like this. So it is the 5th fret on the B string, the 4th fret on the G string, and the 6th fret on the D string, and then the open E. And then he started off by putting his pinky on the 7th fret on the B string and playing and at the same time playing the root with the thumb. So I noticed that I use my ring finger, as I talked about in the start, for the B string. And then you just walk down the chord like this. So again. And then for the B chord, he has the same principle. He put the pinky on the 5th fret on the B string and then walks down the chord. And he also plays the root with his thumb on that first note. So putting that together, we got again. And here it is may be interesting to use fewer fingers and maybe play like or something like that, but I think it's good to get into the habit of using your fingers consistently the same way throughout the whole song and using all your fingers pretty much, like I talked about before. So playing it like this, starting with the ring finger here. Yeah, and after that you play the verse just like before. But then you have this other run, and the chord is still an E, but it's an open E. And then you could say he plays like a B5 or just a B, and moves it to an F sharp. Like that. And not the open E, obviously. So like that. And for the E chord, he just plays it very straightforward like this. Just walking down the chord. And notice I used my thumb and then thumb again for the A string, and then the index finger on the D string, and then the middle finger on the G string. So we keep that pattern. And after that, what you do is playing the root, the B note, and the octave with your middle finger here. And then you lift your pinky and play the 3rd fret on the G string, the 4th fret on the D string, and then move your pinky to the 4th fret on the A string. So it's like a B5 chord transitioning into an F sharp chord. Again. So what we got is again. And I think it could be nice to play that whole verse through one time. So here we go. Nice. And then we move on to the chorus. And the first 4 chords are D sharp minor, G sharp minor, E, and B. And the fingerpicking pattern is that you run the chord down like this, and then you play all 3 strings, and then root and all 3 strings. So again, and after that, on the G sharp minor chord, it is that straightforward bass, bass, and then all three highs. So, and the same pattern for the E chord. And for the B chord, you do the same pattern as you did for the D sharp minor chord. So B chord is. So putting it together, you got. And then what comes next is unique for this chorus, the first chorus. And the chords are G sharp minor, E, G sharp minor again, F sharp, and then this beautiful E major 7 chord. And the fingerpicking pattern is very straightforward. It is that bass, bass, 3 highs for all the chords except the last one. So what you got is. So this is the only chord where you, instead of having your fingers like this, you move them down one string for each finger like this. Play that twice, and then you play the D string with your thumb, which is the only time in the song that you do that. And then all these high strings again. So. So playing the whole first chorus, we got. Nice. And then we move on to the verse again, and it is played exactly the same way as the first verse. So yeah, we don't need to play that. And after that we move on back to the chorus, the second chorus, and it starts off the same way, like this. But then the chords are G sharp minor, C sharp minor, E, F sharp, and then he does a really beautiful run on the G sharp minor chord. And the pattern is still that simple bass, bass, 3 highs. So. And then we get to the run on the G sharp minor chord, which goes like this. Okay, so breaking that down, what we do is walking down the chord like this. But then we lift our pinky to the 14th fret on the B string. And notice that I still use one finger for each string here. So then you go back to the root, and then you lift your pinky back and play the B string, and then the root again, and then the G string. And after that he does a little break. So playing that, slowly we have. And after that he alternates like this. And then he plays the B string, and then lifts all his fingers and bar the 11th fret with his index finger. So slowly that is. And then to wrap it up, he plays it just like he started. So the whole run slowly is. And now we get to the bridge, and for both the bridge and the outro, the pattern is that bass, bass, 3 highs. So all you need to know now is the chords, and then you're done. So the chords are C sharp minor, G sharp minor, E major 7, but played like this, and the fingering is 7th fret on the A string, 6th fret on the G string, 4th fret on the G string, and 4th fret on the B string. And then he plays this beautiful E flat 7 chord. And the fingering is 6th fret on the A string, 5th fret on the D string, 6th fret on the D string, and 4th fret on the B string. So that becomes and then again. But then the second time he plays the F sharp chord. And then he repeats it. And that is the bridge. And moving on to the outro, he once again plays C sharp minor, G sharp minor, E major 7, and F sharp. And then he moves on to the G sharp minor, E, B, F sharp, and then he plays those chords again but higher up. But he starts off with the G sharp minor the same way, E, B, and then F sharp 7 actually. And then he repeats those 8 chords 7 times, I believe, if you want this solo as well. So the outro then is and now we get to the part that repeats itself 7 times. Again. And when you want to end it, you simply play the G sharp minor. And that is Time Tonight by John Frusciante. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment and tell me what you thought about this style of making a guitar lesson, and perhaps I can make more of it if you like it, and please subscribe for more.